finally getting some steel planted in the ground. Been kind of a crazy fall. Normally I like to set right after deer season, which would have been last week, and traps don't usually start firing until this week, just because right after deer season they're eating on gut piles and any deer that hunters didn't find. And so I usually set that week prior to deer season or after deer season, and this week I start getting catches. Well, as this year has just continued to be crazy wet. I didn't set last week because we had a bunch of rain, and it's really actually still very wet out, but it's also warm. And being a late season trapper, kind of banking on cold weather. We do have cold front coming here at the end of this week. I'm going to bring a little bit more rain. It's not supposed to be crazy heavy, but it is going to bring a little bit more rain. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting a couple sets and getting them going, but I won't get the full line out until next week once it starts freezing up and finally getting cold, and hopefully being cold to stay. But this is actually a brand new spot, and I'm really pretty doggone excited about it. I'm also going to try a couple new sets this year that I've never done that will hopefully, the way they're set, should help with the freeze thaw that we get a lot of, especially on a year like this when it's an El Nino year, or a La Nina, I guess. So out putting a few traps in here. I'm just going to use my normal modified dirt hole set. It's really a step down set. Drilling a hole, digging my trap bed, and my trap bed is going to be shaped like a bowl, and it's going to be down lower than the surface. It's different than a flat set, but it's going to be lower than the surface. And what that means, or what that causes, is that animal, once it finally commits, causes them to put their full weight down on that pan, and you get a lot higher catches, fewer toe catches, and that sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to use here. But like I said, this is a brand new spot. I'm really excited to trap it because I know that the coyotes, which is my primary target, really work this area hard. Basically what we've got is a thicket off here to the east that they hunt quite a bit. And then off that thicket is this drainage ditch, and on either side of it, it's got a filter strip, and then we've got a land bridge. So we've got a really good three-way coming out of that thicket where this lane goes up to the road. And again, they got this drainage ditch that they'll come out of that thicket and hunt, or go to that thicket and hunt. So putting a couple sets here on either side of the bridge, one set on either side of the bridge, and I think we'll have some action. But being a late season trapper, it's kind of tough. You're counting on that cold weather for the animals to be hungry and hunting hard. And frankly, we have not had that cold weather yet. It's gotten cold a couple nights, but I don't think we've had any days, but one day. We've had one day where it was below freezing, and that's been it. So anyways, get this baby set in the ground here. First year using a kneeling pad too. Kind of starting to show my age a little bit. These tend to hurt worse and worse every year, especially after the first day of setting. Might have to dig that out. Dig the front out of that out just a little bit more. But other than this modified dirt hole set, we're also gonna use a what's called a pipe dream set. It was, I guess, kind of invented by Mark Zager of Coyote U out in New York. One of my buddies, in fact, you guys, if you follow our channel, have seen my buddy Boomer Davidson of Wild Memories TV on the Sportsman's channel. He actually filmed Mark. Maybe we'll put that description, or put that link to his video where he talks about the pipe dream set. We'll put that in the description down below so you guys can go see that. But Boomer filmed Mark making his pipe dream set a year or two ago. So, and in that video, Mark talks about back in the day, really even when I started trapping 15, 20 years ago, trappers were very secretive. Believe it or not, you kids, there was no such thing as YouTube. But trappers were real secretive. You know, fur was worth a lot more money then, too. And guys were making pretty good money trapping. And now it's really just a labor of love. Furs just aren't worth what they used to be. And the reason I trap is just to manage the predator population, especially coyotes. We used to have a lot of red fox around, or a lot more than we do, and gray fox. And part of our decline in those populations is habitat loss, but we used to have a lot of red fox and not so many coyotes. Now we got a bunch of coyotes, and they're obviously competing for food. Competing for food with the red fox and killing the red fox. And of course our fawns and whatnot on the deer side. And that's why I trap. Like I said, labor of love. So bed that trap in there. She's not gonna move. I'm gonna run without any antifreeze for right now. Usually I use some antifreeze to keep the traps working, but with it being so warm, I'm gonna see what this rain does this week, and then maybe next week, if I need to, sprinkle some antifreeze on top. Because what the antifreeze does, we use calcium chloride, either flakes or pellets. Keeps your traps operating, but it also draws moisture. So, if you want to come around here real quick, Jarrett. So basically what I've got is the farmer, when he came and disced up this field, he left some big parts of the field, furrows and whatnot. So I'm using that as backing. Actually, I went and took some. So it's going to give coyotes and predators a visual. And then in front of that, drilled my hole as deep as I could get it with my auger, and then dug my trap bed. And now I've got my trap in there. It'll wiggle just a little bit side to side, but for the most part, it's steady. It's not going forward and backward, tipping this way. It's just wiggling a little bit side to side, and the more I push it down, and the less it wiggles. So I've got my trap bedded, lifting up the loose jaw there, using my trapper's cap. It's another thing Kevin and I don't use very often, is anything under the pan to stop dirt from getting underneath there, and we don't use pan covers for the most part. Now this pipe dream set and the hay set that I'm going to use this year, yeah, I'm going to have to use a pan cover for that stuff. I've got my chain actually back here. That's the nice thing about this set with the chain back here, is that we don't have to remakes are really easy, because when that animal gets caught, the chain is actually anchored right here, the trap is anchored right here, and as he's making his fight circle, all he's doing is pushing dirt in here. He's not digging the trap set up and making just a complete mess of it. Now if you get into raccoons and that sort of thing, yeah, they can make a mess of that trap set, but for the most part, when you catch an animal out of this set, he's not gonna make a huge mess of it. So now I'm bedding that trap, bedding it nice and firm so it doesn't wiggle. See, that baby's firm. So now we've got to sift some more dirt over top of it. One of the goals for today too is to try to find some drier dirt. I got some sandy spots that will hold better dirt or drier dirt. So I'll take that, wiggle that trapper's cap off. And basically when I'm doing this, all I'm trying to do is create a little bit more of a bowl right where that pan is. I probably could have dug my bed just a fuzz deeper, but basically I'm creating a bowl where that pan is. So it's giving those animals, when they come in and work the set and walk around it, and once they commit, giving them a flat spot to put their paw. So, and that's it. That's it to this set, other than putting some lure down the hole, maybe a little bit of urine on the side. That's all I'm going to do for this set.